Stop what you're doing and listen.
Now, live from Chicago,
The Hal Sparks radio program Mega Worldwide.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Hal Sparks, actor, comedian, and multimedia personality.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hal Sparks.
All right, let's do this.
Hi, chat room. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Hal Sparks radio program Mega Worldwide. Another dead news week. There was just
if only
nothing. Just so much nothing. It's ridiculous. This is one of those, I would say, news-wise, this would qualify as like a Cliff Notes week. That's what we should call it from now on. Now, we will definitely be aging ourselves because of now it's Spark Notes. But I can't say that without it sounding like I'm giving myself credit. So and God knows I hate doing that.
Don't start now.
No, yes, right. Whatever you do, keep the ego in check. Don't let it get out. Don't get over your skis. Hi, everybody. Glad you could be with us today. There's so much. First of all, can we just start the show off with sort of a moment of joy and a moment of like that you had to have seen the moment this week when Alex Jones heard in court live as it was happening. This is your Perry Mason moment.
It was a Perry Mason moment, dude.
It really was. If Perry Mason's main rival in the old show was Inspector Clouseau, because let's understand that Perry Mason used to figure this stuff out on his own. And, with his keen analytical mind and his eye for detail, and his, it was more like a liar moment. Like, weight, 15 pounds? Yeah, in your bra, right? And I don't know if you remember Liar, but the end where he's
I love Liar, but I can't quote it.
It's the part in the end where he realizes that she lied on her driver's license to be older so she could get married, and therefore the prenuptial agreement that they said prenuptial agreements, right? That was those are the moments where a lawyer like recognizes details that are that have appeared in front of, oh my gosh, I just put it together. That's not what happened at all. Alex Jones's lawyer sent, and this reeks of the Hunter Biden laptop story. The parallels here are stark and ginormous. Because you'll recognize that there is no, I would like to say for the record, again, there is no Hunter Biden laptop. A hard drive titled laptop has been bouncing around since Rudy Giuliani came back from Ukraine, and a dude who vaguely looks like Hunter Biden came in to the only Mac repair place in Delaware with a blind guy running it. And dropped it off, maintaining a distance of 5 feet at all times because the guy can see 6 inches in front of his face and no further. And then 2 unidentified FBI agents came by later and picked it up and said, hey, if he comes back to get it, let us know, we'll drop it off, which is something FBI agents never say. And those guys disappeared. The laptops they brought for this guy to extract stuff from is gone. Never went to the FBI. Nobody knows who these guys are. They're gone. That's silly. Hilarious. Like, this is like, 3 Days of the Condor, old-fashioned dumb spy stuff. I love it. Anyways, but this hard drive, he copied what files he could. He started rifling through what he thought were Hunter Biden's personal effects well before he had the right to do so. He's like supposedly going through all these. And then he was like, oh my God, red flag after red flag. I need to send this to, who do I know? Oh, I just happen to know Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the only blind laptop repairman in Delaware who knows Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. I mean, the confluence, beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm a huge fan of that story. You guys know, anybody who watches the live stream, we've covered it many times. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that I will, at me right ahead. Anybody, I will take all comers. Tell me that the laptop is real, and I will tell you that it isn't, and I will be right. Now, ironically, there's been a lot of talk about Alex Jones's phone got into the hands of the plaintiff's attorney in the Sandy Hook trial, and God bless and keep the parents of the Sandy Hook children, the amount of heartbreak these people had to endure, and then followed on by years of this absolute, I can't say the word on the radio, tormenting them, lying about the lives of their children, and lying that it was all faked, and I mean, just madness. And then basically setting his viewers and listeners on them, like a pack of psychotic dogs, and then having the nerve before this phone business happened to apologize to them in court when the jury is out of the room. While she's giving him,
the jury wasn't in there. He wasn't even doing that for them.
No, it wasn't even performative. It was when he in person, like behind the thing, to like it was to manipulate the judge, is what it was.
Their attorney was really not happy with that.
Ooh, yeah.
He's like, no, this is not how this is happening.
Yeah, right. And so he goes, the way this actually worked out. And hi, chat room, welcome. Johnny Million's with us. He'll be checking in on your questions as well. I don't think Philip's joining us this morning because he's back in the States and he's back to his normal life and that kind of stuff. We'll catch up on
useless to us now.
He's totally is no. He's he actually isn't, because now I think he's getting his first dose of American media firsthand, how they're talking about it. It's going to be a shock to him,
yes.
And I think it'd be great to get that take on it. But anyways, Mr. Monster, thank you for the super chat. Beetlejuice is going supernova. I'm sad. I hope that's not a Lori Lightfoot reference.
I don't know.
All right. So, anyways, what actually happened is the plaintiff's attorney did not get Alex Jones's phone. What the plaintiff's attorney got, and this is very important for the laptop crowd, is a forensic copy of the entire phone. Every file on it, and by the way, depending on what he had downloaded to it, tons of if he's got like iCloud turned on or some similar service, any documents that he had quick access to recently will still be in memory, even if they're technically kept in the cloud. Which is when you hand somebody the phone and you turn the phone back on, you might not be able to download directly if you were just looking through it or see stuff in there, unless you had a password or something. But in the forensic copy, you get to look behind the veil of the user interface and see everything that's in there. And that's hilarious.
Charles Hobb.
What happened?
If they just handed over that Sandy Hook stuff, they'd be so much better off now. Trump, Stone, Getz, and all the bad guys are getting new ulcers too.
Oh yeah,
Delicious.
They are.
Well done.
So when that moment happened this week, I think a lot of us felt like, oh my God, the justice system somehow does work. We're watching a person actually get somewhere close to the comeuppance that they deserve. Because I've told my Alex Jones is a fraud story from the time I was on his show with my buddy Richard Hunter, who is a great human being and who has, of course, adopted one of Michael Vick's pit bulls, who was a bait dog. She's an adorable pit bull, and he's a lovely human being for doing that. And she's
delicious.
And she's got what? Oh, I wouldn't know. You lick him every time you see him, but you keep trying to ask me to, but I'm not. I just can't do it. We're too close as friends. Anyways,
sure.
But I was on his show way back in the day when he was like, and that's how what he was lying this week about the show. Just, well, we were syndicated, but basically my whole show was a webcam over the monitor, and that was basically it. That's nonsense. He had a minor television studio as far back as 2001, because you didn't have webcams readily available back then. You had to use a regular cam. You had to use like a Media 100 system at the very least, or some setup, if you were going to do any kind of semi-broadcasting. So all these radio stations that were kind of converting to like doing a Don Imus thing had regular cameras in them. It was expensive. There was a lot of money spent there. in the early days. But this idea that somehow he was shoestringing it is garbage. The other thing that came out that I would like to just attach to everyone's thought, and we'll move on from this story because ending with the fact that he's been, I think it's $49.1 million he has to pay to just
everything all added up. It's gorgeous.
Just these parents, and he's got another trial right after this with another set of parents. And then
I also love that the judge called him out while he was on the stand saying, you're saying that you're bankrupt. You are not bankrupt. You have filed for bankruptcy.
Yes, right. Well, he wasn't supposed to bring that up in court because that's an attempt at making the court sympathetic, make the jury sympathetic to you. That only works if it's 1965 or 1978 or some in that range, when people didn't really know that that businesses would jettison lawsuits, by filing bankruptcy. People know that trick now.
Everyone knows that that's what you do to hide.
We've watched BP do it in an attempt to restructure debt from the oil spill. People are on to that stuff now. It doesn't work. So, I was happy to have him try because it allowed that moment for her to crap on him. But here's the one thing that I want to leave this on. $49.1 million. The January 6th committee has got a forensic legal copy of his phone that has a chain of evidence that maintains its usefulness in a court of law. Unlike the garbage Hunter Biden laptop story crap, hard drive, mixed up files, blah, 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 none of that will ever see the inside of a courtroom. And if anything is ever presented in court that we learned about this document from the Hunter Biden laptop, I got news for you. Fruit of the poison tree, it will get thrown out. It's the dumbest because you made the mistake of mystery FBI agents, mystery, like a guy can't identify in court. Can you point out Hunter Biden in the courtroom? Yeah, he's right over there. He's not in the court today, sir. That's my friend Gary, who also has a beard. Then it gets thrown out as that for that chain of evidence. Then just getting it passed around Trump world for 2 years before it goes to court. No, nothing in that gets used. Nothing. There is never going to be, if any of the stuff that even the DOJ is going after Hunter Biden for taxes comes up, they're not going to be able to use what's in the laptop as a linkage. And if they tried...
We're talking about chain of custody.
It's terrible, right? However, we do not have that problem at all with Alex Jones's phone because his lawyer made the copy. He gave a forensic copy to that legal team. They entered it into evidence, and that precise copy will be sent to the January 6th committee, and when they are done with it, to the DOJ. There is no interruption. There is no 2 years of bouncing around where Hillary Clinton gave it to whom at Aberdeen so she could carry it around in her purse, and then Anthony Weiner had it for a week and a half and slept on it and then sold copies to his friends.
Is Alex Jones' attorney a performance artist?
You mean also a performance artist, like a magician or,
No, like, is he not really an attorney?
Oh, I don't know if he will be for long, because the one thing Alex probably will do is sue his own attorneys for gross misconduct. Probably for $49.1 million for the first charge, whatever. What the problem is, all the other families get that phone as well. That can be provided from one team to the other as legal evidence that they have as discovery, whether it was meant to be given to them.
Amazing.
It's great. So enjoy this break.
Guy.
We'll be back right after. I'm not a tech guy. BS. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Parks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. Welcome back. We're live streaming as well at infotainmentwars.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would, please. That would help us out immensely. We cracked the 38K number a little bit ago, and it was exciting. There's some of these numbers when we're getting subscriptions, they build and then they hold and then they hold and then they pop and then we move through another like we start growing again. And obviously, people on the radio who've been listening for a long time won't be tremendously surprised at this, but I use salty language on my regular daily stream where I'm not on the radio, and that demonetizes the stream. It cuts it down. Like I really only get ads from Epic Times and DeSantis for 2024 on my channel running on YouTube, apparently, because that they're fine with you being as, you can use as, whatever disgusting language you would like, and they're like, cool,
Yeah.
my kind of people, even though I'm not their kind of people. There you have it.
No.
But there was a super chat during there.
Yeah, super chat from Greg Edmond. Do you mind if I get to read it? I'm very excited.
No, love it.
Greg Edmond from Canada. Thank you very much for the super chat. Said this is when he heard about the cell phone being given to the
Alex Jones,
defense, or to the prosecution. Jones looks like a basset hound crapping beach pits while wondering how many more he actually ate.
It's very descriptive, and it's right. And there's kind of like,
he always looks like he's about to pop. He if you just hit him with a hat pin,
right, like Mr. Creosote in Monty Python. I couldn't eat another bite. I'm absolutely stuffed. Right. That is,
his hypertension must be unreal.
It's off the charts. Again, this is one of those interesting things about health, ladies and gentlemen, where it's not necessarily that fat is his problem. That is a prime example of inflammation, ladies and gentlemen. That is water retention, because your body is freaking out at whatever you're putting into it with some regularity. You are either mildly allergic to everything you eat on top of a crap diet, and you drink too much, which will make your body also bloat against it. And then God knows what supplements.
Cocaine makes you bloat too, man.
It does?
Yeah, the coke bloat is real.
The coke bloat, right? Doesn't a disco dump solve that? Don't they? I'm
temporarily,
as an outsider, I don't know much about this stuff, but I will say there's yet another beautiful thing about this, and that is that it was a Texas jury that did this.
That is amazing. But Austin is the second most corrupt court
liberal
system
place
in America, right behind what is it? Right behind DC.
That he thinks that.
Yeah, that's what he said when he was talking outside the courthouse. It's been taken over by Democrats.
Well, then you got two Republican senators, you got a Republican governor who's and one of the and the worst Republican AGs in a row, and this has been an ongoing thing. Like, maybe look, if the city council has been taken over by Democrats, I to some degree, so what? It's the capital city. So fish
there's
stinks
a
from
lot
the
of
head.
back and forth though in the chat.
Yep.
And these are good questions. What is a disco dump, Hal?
Oh, that is a term for that party girls use a lot about a cocaine-induced the necessity of evacuation of one's bowels, and the largeness of it, and the need to do it to continue partying. I think is as nicely as I can put it. Is that pretty much do it? I think so.
It works for me.
Again,
that's all you're getting.
Having never experienced said situation, I really couldn't tell you. And thank God I've never been around one when it happened that I'm aware of either.
We only have 2 hours on Saturdays.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's not even necessary. Yeah. So, and again, the greatest news, besides the fact that Alex Jones was hit with $4.1 million in damages, and then $45 million in punitive damages, because these people.
What's the difference?
Well, I'm glad you asked. $4.1 million. You have to have receipts for what he did to you.
I see what you're saying.
These people had to move. They had to hire security. They no doubt got, psychiatric help.
They had to change all of their electronics.
Yes, they had to they have
They
to.
were doxxed.
Yeah, they exactly. And now they're not. They can't just move. The internet is forever. So these people, I mean, they're Reddit threads around Alex Jones that are like, where are these people now? And they'll go find them again. It's, I mean, yeah. Some of the Shmoopy in the chat saying some got divorced. That's the other parents. But yeah, these beyond that, I mean, that's the emotional wreckage that comes from the 45 million and all that kind of stuff. But they literally selling their house, moving to a new one, changing jobs, changing everything, what it cost them and lost income because they couldn't work for a long period of time because they couldn't go to their work because their work would get tormented. How do you get in? How do you go to a job interview and they go, anything you need to tell us if we're going to hire you? You sound great.
Yeah, my kid got shot at school, and
now Alex
DJ
Jones
thinks that it's fake, and
so he sends psychopaths to follow me around and park in the parking lot. So you might see 10 or 15 or 1 or 3 of these morons.
So it's all obviously self-imposed. I mean, my bad.
Yeah, and they're all open carry nuts. So yeah. You know what? We've got a couple of other people in the lobby, so I mean, it's just gross. So the $4.1 million is their direct damages that they could show receipts for in court. And they were awarded every dime, rounded up, I believe. And then the 45 million is, strictly speaking, that's what they think he should pay just this pair. Because the idea is that there's another.
Didn't they go by individual? Like the judgment was like one person got like 20-some million dollars, another person got 20-some million dollars.
Yes, yeah. So they split it up between the parents individually because I think they are divorced now, or the actual parents.
And Alex was dragging them on his show, saying that the father was like slow and autistic.
Right. Yeah, and that my other favorite part. We got to take a break, but where he goes. Have you been showing pictures of the judge with fire around her face, saying that linking her to pedophiles? And he's like, no. And then they literally show a video where the judge's face is on fire. She's with CPS, who's been linked to pedophilia and child trafficking. Like, you moron. Like, of course there's tape, dummy. You're on tape for a living. Oh my God. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Watch
Radio
Radio
program. Can we just talk about this forever?
Mega. Worldwide. Oh, there's other great stuff as well. Did you see the jobs report? Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Did you see my tweets around it? Oh my God. We'll be back.